Welcome to the Graduate Job Podcast, your home for weekly information and inspiration to help you get the graduate job of your dreams.
Hello and welcome to the Graduate Job Podcast with your host, James Curran. The Graduate Job Podcast is your home for all things related to helping you on your journey to find that amazing job. Each episode I bring together the best minds in the industry, speaking to leading authors, graduate recruiters and career coaches who bring decades of experience into a bite-sized weekly 30-minute-ish show. Put simply, this is a show I wish I had when I graduated. Hello and welcome to the 98th episode of the UK's #1 careers podcast. In today's episode, I answer a reader question from Jessie, who got in touch and asked me the following question. I graduated 7 years ago, but want to completely change the direction of my career. Am I too old to apply for a graduate job? A great question, and one I will walk you through today. We will look at if there is indeed an age limit on graduate jobs, or if there is a time limit for how quickly you have to apply after university. We explore why work experience and skills are so important, and some of the key things you need to do if you are thinking of transitioning careers. No matter where you are in your job search, still studying or thinking of changing careers, this is an episode you won't want to miss. As always, you can find a full downloadable transcript and all of the links from today over at graduatejobpodcast.com/age. Before we start today, let me tell you about the brilliant course I'm working on, cunningly titled How to Get a Graduate Job. This course is packed chock full of decades of experience into one step-by-step guide of everything you need to do to get a graduate job. There are videos, guides, handouts, cheat sheets, example CVs, example cover letters, example answers to those annoying 200-word competency questions, help with video interviews. Look, if you need to know it to get a graduate job, it's in my course. The course is going live in August, but to be the first to hear about it and to get it at a never-to-be-repeated price with special bonuses, head to graduatejobpodcast.com/course and leave me your email. So let's jump straight into Jessie's question. I graduated 7 years ago and want to completely change the direction of my career. I'm coming up to 30. Am I too old to apply for a graduate scheme? Do they have an age limit on applications? Well, Jessie, the good news is that no, there is no age limit on applications for most graduate schemes. Excellent. Good stuff. Glad I could help with that one. So see you next week. Okay. Let's go into the answer in a little bit more detail. In the UK, it is illegal to discriminate against people on the basis of age, which is why companies can't deny you a place on a graduate scheme due to your age. There are some companies, though, that require graduates to have graduated within a certain time frame, such as 24 months or 12 months after graduation. But if this is the case, they tend to list that information nice and clearly on the key requirements part of the graduate application page on their website. These companies are definitely in the minority, though. If they don't mention it, then you are good to go. Nothing to worry about, and you can start getting that application ready. Let's break it down into what companies are looking for with the graduate scheme. They want high-quality employees that they can train and develop in line with the way their business operates. They want people that they can bring through and develop into the future leaders of their business. To them, it doesn't really matter if you're 21, 23, 25, 35. It's a quality that counts. They ask specifically for graduates because having a degree, and in many cases a 2-1 degree, is seen as a base level of intelligence, illustrating to them that you can study, work hard, you've got base level of English. Now, in addition to this base level that a degree is seen as bringing, companies are also looking for candidates who can bring some great transferable skills with them. And the skills part is really important, Jessie, and this is something that you shouldn't overlook, because being older isn't a disadvantage here at all. Compared to a fresh-faced 21-year-old graduate straight out of university, you're going to have an absolute ton of transferable skills from life, work, and everything else in between. You'll have 7 years worth of skills over that 21-year-old. Now, while they might be using competency examples of group work at university where someone wasn't pulling their weight, you'll be able to call upon real-life experiences from your work experience over the years. The fact that it might not be experience in exactly the same industry or area as a graduate scheme isn't the point. A graduate employer wants to know the skills that you bring, and selfishly, what you can do for them. Where you develop them is of less interest. And from speaking directly with graduate recruiters, they say that they actively encourage graduates who might be changing career to apply, as they know that they're going to bring with them a wealth of experience, different viewpoints, maturity, and a host of other different skills. All attributes which companies are desperately looking for in their candidates. The only challenge that you might have, Jesse, is in really tailoring your experience to that of the graduate schemes you're applying to. Now, all work experience is transferable. You just need to pinpoint the exact bits that are going to make those graduate recruiters sit up and take notice. Start with the competencies and values that they list on their corporate page. Now, taking previous guest D.S. Smith as an example, who were on the show back in episode 93, have a look at the links in the show notes at graduatejobpodcast.com/age. So D.S. Smith had 6 core competencies that they were looking for from applicants. They were collaboration, innovation, trustworthy, willing to learn, adaptable, and finally strategic. And on their website, they're going into detail of exactly what it is that they want from each of them. Now, Jesse, say if you were applying to them, in this situation, what you've got to do is you've got to think of specific examples of where you had demonstrated these competencies over the years. So when have you been collaborative and worked effectively with colleagues, etc. When you've identified these examples that fit with each of these 6 competencies, your next task then is to play them back in your application so that they can see just how relevant you are for the role. Old is gold. So don't let any stories you're telling yourself about being too old for a graduate scheme hold you back from applying. Don't rule yourself out before you've even applied. So there you go, a quickie today. Show notes, as I mentioned, at graduatejobpodcast.com/age. And if you do have a question like Jesse, then just drop me a line directly at hello@graduatejobpodcast.com and I'll see what I can do. Don't forget as well to sign up to hear about the upcoming course on how to get a graduate job, which you can do via the show notes. This course will take you through everything you need to do and everything you need to know to impress at every stage of the application process. So sign up so you can get it with special bonuses and offers when it goes live in August. If you want to support the show, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe the podcast wherever it is that you listen. I hope you enjoyed it today, but more importantly, hope you use it and apply it. See you next week.